So we start off with a EBOM, or engineering design or architectural design, where we usually have some collaboration for us as manufacturing, either on-site or off-site, to understand what that product is and why they're trying to do it, and where the weaknesses are and strengths. We then do something called a manufacturer bill of materials, or sometimes called construction bill of materials, where we're going to break that product down into smaller chunks to manage it, which I'll explain further in a moment. We then do process engineering for sequencing, resource and layout for on-site and off-site. So this is bringing that data into the process. And then after that, these kind of all happen in parallel, depending on what is your business driver. So some companies, you might really have a focus or a problem for your product with ergonomics. It's a particularly tall product, and how are the people going to reach it? How are they going to do it? What's the strain on their body? So you jump straight to that assessment. If you're more talking about the factory, someone might straight away want to know about factory flow and the rate and the bottlenecks and really care about their production line, in which case we would jump straight to that simulation environment to solve it. So those kind of elements on the right, you always need the stuff on the left to set it up and bring it in. Once you have it, you can really start to run with solving your problems. And then briefly, just because I mentioned I'd come back to it, so for MBOM, as this is a tricky concept in construction, so I always like to use the example of a well-known flat pack furniture supplier that most people will have built their furniture in their homes. If you're building a table, and if you had a table and chairs, you'd probably expect to have two boxes turn up to your house. So one box would contain the table, and one box would contain the chairs. So everything you need to build the table, you open it up and you build it and you do it. And the same for the chairs. It wouldn't make sense to have one box with all of the fasteners in, one box with all of the chair legs and the table legs and the instructions for the table, and the other one with the chair tops and the tabletop. You'd have to open up every single box just to build one of the items. That wouldn't make sense. So we take that same principle into construction and bill of materials. So example here on the left, you can see the product is on the top level, and then we have our modules that we need for on-site to install it below that. And actually, even deeper within that, we need to manufacture these modules, right? So we then also have our off-site modules, which we need to produce as well. So this is just a way of breaking up the product. And then, of course, we can consume this into our sequencing and our process to start to get an idea of how this thing is going to be built and what it looks like. As you can see, it's very, very visual. So we found this has been really valuable for all of our customers. And I want to mention it as I asked a few customers before this what a key value point for them was. And especially for new products, this was really key to drag and drop a product around, understand what they're going to do for make or buy, and understand the rough sequencing on a really high level before you get detailed. Cool. And then for free, you get this kind of 4D build-up if you've gone through that process as well. So I'm more highlighting this. I won't run you through in detail what's happened here. I'll save that for the other webinars. Just highlighting that these are the two products that we'll demonstrate to you in the rest of this series. So you have the volumetric 4D build-up on the left, which is representing a kind of garden studio, outside office sort of thing as one unit. And then we also have a kind of dry lining architectural wall on the right, which consists of studs, plasterboard, insulation, things like that. So we'll show the factory for the one on the left and the on-site installation and optimization. And then we'll also show on-site for the right and identifying a new potential opportunity with that as well. Cool. So for this session, I was kind of trying to put together what some typical value is for on-site and off-site. So why should you do an off-site simulation and on-site simulation? So for off-site, the typical issues we've seen or reasons for a business to get involved with it would be things like factory layout. So does it fit in the building? Where do the stations go? Where's the material going? Can I actually get the product out the door? And customers on the call, you know who you are. I've gone through that with several customers now. We've realized the product can't fit out the factory door because construction stuff is big. So what are the constraints in the factory? There's also the interesting thing around simulating the processes in the factory. So making sure you're using lean principles For example, making sure the material and tools are where they need to be used, when they need to be used. So, for example, it doesn't make sense to have your drill on the wrong side of the factory. Bring it to where the operator needs to use it to build it, to reduce time waste. Another huge topic for factories is DFMA, or design for manufacturing and assembly. So this is a massive topic of, can you actually build the product? Does it need to be split into further subsystems? How many subsystems? What equipment are we going to use? That sort of thing. So DFMA, especially in construction, is huge at the minute. And the last one, which has been quite a popular one, I'd say, is advanced manufacturing. So looking at different opportunities for automation for high volume products. So this could be full automation with robotics, or it might even just be using clever things like jigs and tools and fixturing to kind of lean out your process to hit a full production. And this is kind of piggybacking on the awesome work from aerospace and automotive that we've seen as well. Cool. And then for onsite, so same sort of thing. So the kind of big value points for us we've seen businesses doing this is typically they want to understand the site layout. So can you get the resources you need to fit in the locations they should be? So if you have a big piece of equipment, can it actually get into the space that's needed to be used? Where are the material buffers? Are you using canty decks, buck hoists, forklifts, that sort of thing? A huge topic is worker safety. So unfortunately, we all know the problems with construction, that there still are injuries and deaths in this sector, and it's a big issue. So using ergonomics, the ergonomics tools in Delmia has been massive for us to check if something is safe, see if it can be improved, see if something does appear safe, but actually they're doing that process hundreds of times, and across a week, it will cause that operator an injury. So finding these issues and finding ways to make the sector safe has been bringing our customers huge value and a huge impact to their business. And kind of the final one, there was obviously more on this screen, but I'll run through a few key points, is understanding how to actually install a product in the field. So you've identified that, you have this wall. How are you actually going to build it? How do you simulate it? What's all the steps you're going to go through? And there's two key values with doing this. The first is it obviously captures the know-how of this is how you install that product in the field and the resources associated with it. But the second huge thing for me has been a communication tool. So I've had quite a few times where we've interviewed customers, and we've had 3 people who understand the product inside and out. They've all agreed that is how you install the product. I've simulated the install of that product in 3D. There's no disputing how it looks. And then one person from the 3 before has said, perfect, that's exactly what I meant. And then the other 2 have gone, that's not what I meant. I was thinking we would do something completely different. So then that doesn't mean any of them are wrong, but it means there's multiple ways to install that product. We can simulate all of the different methods. It makes sure we're all singing from the same hymn sheet and we all understand each other. And then we can make a data-driven decision on which one is the best solution for a specific site.